Good evening, everyone.
There you go.
Thank you for joining us for a regular City Council meeting. For the record, it's September 21st, 2023, and the time is 6:30 p.m. I'll begin with the roll call. So, Council, when I call your name, please say here or present. Mayor Maxton.
Here.
Council Member Stroop.
Here.
Roden.
Here.
Bliss.
Here.
Kerner.
Here.
Parker is not present. And Menchow.
Present.
With 6 members of council present, a quorum is declared.
Would everybody please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Can y'all hear me okay? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I'd like to welcome and thank y'all. I'd like to welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. As a reminder, we are live broadcasting the current meeting and would like to welcome those who are joining us on the live broadcast also. If you do get an opportunity to speak as part of the meeting, I ask that you speak from the microphone that's up here at the podium. It's the only way that the individuals that are online will hear the comments that are being provided. And if you do get the opportunity to speak, I ask that you introduce yourself and state whether you're a Fair Oaks Ranch resident or not, or what agency you're from that's represented that speaking as part of the meeting. With that, we'll move on to our Citizens Be Heard. We have one individual that signed up as part of Citizens Be Heard, and Mr. Rob Mosier.
Can you hear me? 1, 2. My name is Robert Moser. I've lived in Fair Oaks since 1995. Just want to bring something up that my neighbors and I are talking about. I have an 1.25 acre property, and since 95, I've probably spent a ton of money and a ton of hours personally myself landscaping my property. I've hired an arborist, registered arborist to trim my trees. I most recently lost 21 trees, some I guess 200 to 300 years old. Cost $20,000 to treat and take down. My issue now is the amount of water we get to use. As a youngster, I hauled pipe down canyons. I worked for the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, so I know a little bit about wells and a little bit about the Colorado River, a little bit about water supply. We're limited to 15,000 gallons before we get a surcharge. And just driving from where I live in Raintree Woods, this direction, on that side of the road, I see properties that are about quarter of an acre to 1/3 of an acre. And I know I looked at a piece of property many years ago off Pimlico that was 5 acres. So my contention is that with a big piece of property, I can't put water in my yard. I need to re-landscape with trees that are going to take a ton of water to get established. I'm not going to do it now. But my issue is we need to look a little closer at 15,000 gallons for 1/4 of an acre versus 15,000 gallons for an acre or 2 acres or 3 acres, whatever you have. My bill was $220 with the surcharge. My neighbor was $320. I did fix her leaky faucet for free. And my other neighbor was $500. So understand that we should have a little bit of a surcharge, but it just doesn't seem like it's fair. And then my other question is, with that surcharge money, where does that go to? Is a question that I have. Does it go into the general fund of the utility, or is it used for something else? That's my question.
Unanswered, or
The drought surcharge funds stay in the utility, and it's used for the operations of specifically the water system.
Does that improve the supply of water we get with the enormous amount of building we're getting?
It ensures that we maintain the water supply, yes, through the upkeep of the system.
Do we have any more water supplies coming this direction? I read something that something was coming down from Dallas, a pipeline or something.
I believe that's
I
related
don't-
to the Edwards Aquifer, I think is what you're referring to, which does not affect our system.
Do we run off Edwards or Trinity?
Trinity.
All Trinity? Do they blend in together?
Right, I was trying to,
Oh, okay.
really, we're just
I'll be
taking
quiet.
comments, but you had a quick question, so.
I'm done. Thank you very much for your time.
And sir, thank you for being here tonight, and appreciate the concern and bringing it to council. And I know we've talked, and if it comes up for consideration, I'll make sure that we get the information to you when it's going to come up for a council meeting. We do have one presentation tonight, which that's a proclamation recognizing Human Resources Day. And is Jennifer here? Jennifer? Oh, she is. Well, Joanna's not here, is she? So now we get to embarrass you.
I'm already trained right there.
From the top of your head?
All the way to my toes.
It's so designating Human Resources Day to recognize our Human Resources Department, Jennifer and Joanna, and all that they do for really our city staff. And you know, your personnel is your number one resource that you have in any organization. And having a great Human Resources Department that looks out for that number one resource is important. And y'all do this day in, day out. As many individuals as I see around, and as part of our city staff, you're never sitting still. And honestly, with all the services that you provide to ensure that we take care of our city staff members, you also provide a great level of motivation that keeps morale high within our community here at the City Hall. So I want to thank you and Joanna for all that you do every day, not only to take care of our employees, but also what you do as a whole for our city staff and city council. And so we did have a quick proclamation from the city of Fair Oaks Ranch, whereas the Human Resources Department works hard each day to ensure that the city of Fair Oaks Ranch is staffed with high-quality employees and that those employees have a good environment in which to work in. And whereas the Human Resources Department is instrumental in recruiting, selecting, resourcing, and retaining quality, and whereas the Human Resources Department plays a key role in fostering satisfaction and loyalty among employees by allowing for professional growth and development and keeping employees informed about policies, working conditions, compensation, and benefits. And whereas the Human Resources Department monitors and manages current and future workforce trends, organizational culture, legal and legislative trends, and ethical and social responsibility. And whereas the Human Resources Department is an important part of our city leadership and is vital to the overall productivity and efficiency of Fair Oaks Ranch's workforce. And whereas the Human Resources Department is a valued and respected department that sustains the city's most important asset, which is its people. Now and therefore, as the mayor of the city of Fair Oaks Ranch, do hereby designate September 26th, next week, as Human Resources Professional Day. I urge all citizens to express their appreciation to our Human Resources team members for their dedication and their commitment to Fair Oaks Ranch employees and our residents. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you want to say a couple words? Or?
No, absolutely not. Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to our consent agenda. We have 7 items on the consent agenda tonight. First is the approval of the August 29, 2023 Town Hall meeting minutes. Second, approval of the September 7, 2023 Special City Council meeting minutes. Third, the approval of the September 7th regular City Council meeting minutes. Fourth, approval of the September 12, 2023 Special City Council meeting minutes. Fifth, approval of the September 12, 2023 Special City Council meeting minutes. Sixth, approval of the second reading of an ordinance amending the City of Fair Oaks Ranch's Code of Ordinance, which is under Appendix A, Fee Schedule, Article A8, which concludes subdivision and land development regulation fees. And last is the approval of a resolution authorizing the execution of an interlocal agreement with the City of Bernie for animal control services for fiscal year 2023-24, expenditure of the required funds, and execution of all applicable documents by the city manager. Is there any council member that would like to remove an item from consent to consideration? That then, could I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Chesley
Second.
and Michelle. All in favor of approval of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The consent agenda is approved. Thank you all. With that, we'll move on to our consideration items tonight. We have 11 of them on the agenda for tonight. The first is the consideration and possible action approving the second reading of an ordinance adopting the city budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2023, and ending on September 30th, 2024.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. Summer Fleming, Interim Director of Finance. So this is the first of 3 actions on the proposed budget tonight. This is the budget ordinance itself. The first reading of the ordinance passed last week at the September 12 special meeting. And I have no presentation for you tonight, but would be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments, concerns about the budget? And with that, could I get a motion to approve the second reading of the fiscal year 2023-2024 budget ordinance?
I move it.
Keith?
Second.
Emily? Any other comments from council? And I apologize, I did not open it up to residents. If there were any residents, any comments or concerns about the budget? All right, with that, then I'll turn it over to Christina for the record vote.
Yes, sir. So when I call your name, please say yes or no regarding the budget. Mayor Greg Maxton,
Yes.
Councilmember Stroop,
Yes.
Councilmember Roden,
Yes.
Councilmember Bliss,
Yes.
Councilmember Kerner,
Yes.
and Councilmember Menchow.
Yes.
We're in favor of the budget, sir.
All right.
With 6 votes for.
And with the second reading, the budget is approved. The second item that we have up tonight for consideration and possible action to approve the second reading of an ordinance levying a property tax rate of 30.05 cents per $100 taxable valuation of property in the city of Fair Oaks Ranch for the tax year 2023 and determining due and delinquent dates and providing an effective date.
That's correct. Again, I don't have any presentation for you, but would be happy to answer any questions.
Questions from council? Concerns, comments? Any questions or concerns from anybody here tonight? With that, then, could I get a motion to approve the second reading of an ordinance levying a property tax rate of 30.05 cents per $100 taxable value for tax year 2023, providing when taxes shall become due and delinquent, and providing an effective date?
I so move.
Michelle
Second.
and Chesley. Any other comments from council? Christine, I'll turn it over to you for the record vote.
Okay. Again, when I call your name, please say, actually, you should say for or against. So Mayor Maxton,
4.
Councilmember Stroop,
4.
Councilmember Roden,
4.
Councilmember Bliss,
4.
Councilmember Kerner,
4.
and Councilmember Menchow.
4.
Okay. We have 6 votes for your mayor.
Thank you very much, Christina. And with that, that would, the second reading of the ordinance approves the tax rate for next year. The next item is the consideration and possible action approving a resolution ratifying the property tax rate reflected in the 2023-2024 general fund and debt service fund budgets.
That's right. So this item is to comply with local government code, which requires a separate vote to ratify the property tax rate reflected in the budget. While the adopted property tax rate is below the no new revenue rate, our adopted budget requires raising more revenue from property taxes than in the previous fiscal year, so the ratification is required.
Questions? Any questions or comments from anybody here tonight? And with that, can I get a motion to approve a resolution ratifying the property tax rate reflected in the fiscal year 2023-2024 budget?
So moved.
Second.
Emily,
Mayor, who seconded it?
Laura,
thank
Laura,
you.
Laura and Emily.
I made the
Thank you.
motion, I made the motion, and then Emily seconded.
Any other comments from council? With the motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. The next item that we have up tonight is the consideration and the possible action approving a resolution authorizing a First Amendment to the 2008 water supply agreement between the City of Fair Oaks Ranch and Mark J. Minahan Sr. and Brenda S. Minahan for the reservation of water and other related matters, and authorizing the city manager to execute the First Amendment.
Thank you, Carol. Van Zant, our Assistant City Manager of the Public Works Division. Okay. In September 2008, the city entered into water supply agreements with various property owners in the city's ETJ for the reservation of water for 15 years. These properties are now all within the city limits of Fair Oaks Ranch. As some of the properties would not be developed by the end of the agreement, which was September 30th, 2023, the City Council on August 17th approved a resolution authorizing a 6-month extension to the agreement. This extension allowed the staff and the property owners to meet to review the current agreement, negotiate any changes from either party's requests, develop necessary amendments, allow for legal review, and present the amendment to City Council for your consideration and approval. So tonight before you is the first property owner of the water agreements that has reached out to us, and we've met with them. And their first amendment to the 2008 water supply agreement between us and Mark and Brenda Minahan, which their property is shown on the screen. It's the one on the, it's the one on the right in the gray where it says Oak Bend Estates. They're directly across from them on Ralph Fair Road. That is their property. It's approximately 40 acres. The only amendment that they have requested from the original 2008 agreement is to extend the agreement another 15 years. Please note, the agenda consideration page said 10 years. That is an error. It is 15 years. The agreement does say 15 years. Both legal teams were involved in the amendments. So the 15 years is what you will be voting on. So the agreement in your packet is correct. The consideration page is not. Staff respectfully request approval of the amendment, as the only change being requested is to extend it 15 years.
Any follow-up questions from council?
I have one,
Go ahead, Keith.
Mayor. So how do we establish the rates for these amendments?
So it's by the acre feet of what they're reserving or committing to. And for Mr. Minahan, GBRA sends us an annual water rate fee change. They pay the water supply agreements, not just Minahan, everybody pays their portion of that rate increase based on the number of acre feet that they've committed to that is in this agreement. So the calculation is based on acre feet that they're reserving.
So the calculations are current, not what they were 15 years ago?
Absolutely. Every year, they've been getting a letter the last 15 years. Every time we're notified by GBRA that there's a rate increase, they also get a letter from us that says your rate, your commitment, your reservation and capacity fees will be going up this much based on the new rate GBRA is charging the city.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Good, good. Any questions from anyone here tonight?
Thank you.
Then could I get a motion to approve a resolution authorizing a first amendment to the 2008 water supply agreement between the City of Fair Oaks Ranch and Mark J. Minahan Sr. and Brenda S. Minahan, and authorizing the city manager to execute the amendment?
So moved.
Chesley
I second.
and Laura. Any other comments from council? With the motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. Thank you all. Thank you, Carol. The next item that we have up tonight is the consideration and possible action approving a resolution authorizing the execution of the Fourth Amendment to the agreement between the City of Fair Oaks Ranch and the Guadalupe Blanco River Authority, or GBRA, for the Western Canyon Project. Grant.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, council members, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Grant Watanabe, the Public Works Director for the city, and I'll be covering this resolution for authorizing the Fourth Amendment to our existing GBRA agreement. So the original agreement was signed back in February of 2000 for the development, permitting, financing, construction, and operation of a regional water supply project known as the Western Canyon Project, which provides treated surface water from the Canyon Lake Reservoir to the city. As you may know, GBRA water makes up about 56% of the potable water that we distribute to our customers, so this is a vital source to the city. There have been a total of 3 amendments to this agreement. A copy of each of these amendments is included in the agenda packet as Exhibit B for your reference. But this Fourth Amendment simply changes the agreement to allow for additional points of delivery. Right now, we have 1 point of delivery at Plant 5, and only 1 point of delivery is allowed in the current original agreement. I guess if you refer to Figure 5.1 in the packet, it's actually the map for water system capital improvement projects. And up in the northwest of the city, you can see the original point of delivery in Deer Meadow Estates off of Jodhpur Drive, and it's kind of small and hard to read, but it does say GBRA delivery point up there. The second delivery point that we're asking, and that's already identified in our master plan, is to the northeast of our city, along the Kendall and Comal County lines. And this is primarily where all of our undeveloped land is. This is primarily where future growth will occur. So the intent is somewhere down the line to establish a new water plant and a new GBRA delivery point somewhere in the northeast section of our city. Now, I know it shows it all right there in the corner of the former reserve property, but that may not be where it ends up. It'll be somewhere in this vicinity, though. Referring specifically to the language in the Fourth Amendment, there's only three articles or sections that are going to be changed. The first is Article 1 in definitions, and this is just to change the definition of point of delivery to allow for additional points of delivery. The second change is to Section 2.7, extensions or other modifications of the project, and this change allows either GBRA or the city to extend pipeline infrastructure to support these additional points of delivery. And the third change is to Section 3.6, maximum delivery rate and pressure. Essentially, the amount of water that we commit to on a daily basis and on a maximum instantaneous delivery, basically gallons per minute basis, can't be exceeded between the multiple points of delivery. So for example, we currently take 1.2 million gallons a day from GBRA at a rate of 833 gallons per minute. So between the different sites, we just can't exceed what we commit to in a day or in a minute, basically. There's a couple benefits with pursuing this amendment. Again, first, it supports priority 3.1 of the strategic action plan to enhance and ensure continuity of reliable water resources in accordance with our CCN obligations. It enables our future water infrastructure improvements identified in our master plan. And then lastly, it increases our utility operational resiliency by establishing additional points of delivery and our ability to adjust the amount of water taken from each point of delivery. And with that, that's the end of my presentation. I'll be willing to take any questions.
Just want to confirm, so this is not requiring that we create a second point of delivery. It just allows us
It
to, at
allows
some
us-
point in the future, when we feel like it's needed.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So Grant, when we decide that we need that additional point, who funds the connections, the pipe, and all that infrastructure?
Very similarly, like how we require a developer to extend pipelines to connect to our existing infrastructure, the arrangement is the same, where the city would have to fund the extension from the existing GBRA pipeline to wherever our new point of delivery would be.
So it'd be our expense to do that?
It would be part of our
Okay,
expense, yes.
okay, gotcha. GBRA would not do
But-
that? No.
No.
Okay.
We can partner with GBRA. They'll eventually own and maintain the infrastructure, but the initial outlay to construct that pipeline would be the city's.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Is there anyone else here tonight that has a question, reference DBRA amendment? And with that, could I get a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the execution of the Fourth Amendment to the agreement between the City of Fair Oaks Ranch and the Guadalupe Blanco River Authority for the Western Canyon Project, execution of all applicable documents by the city manager and establishing the effective date?
So moved.
Keith? Chesley? Any other comments from council? With the motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. Thanks,
Thank you,
Grant.
Council.
The next item that we have up tonight is the consideration and possible action appointing council members as members or liaisons to various boards, committees, and commissions. And I'll kick this one off. In the packet, on page 125, is a recommendation of where council members could be appointed to certain committees within the city and commissions, and then any that, well, we don't have any outside the city now. When we left the meeting last week, I did say that I would look at the Alamo Area Council of Governments, ACOG, and I did talk to Diana Rath about it. And at this time, there are no positions available for board members as part of ACOG. It's something that, and that's what we would need the appointment for. Other than that, we can attend the meetings, but we're not part of the board and the decision-making authority of it. If it's something that we do want to pursue in the future, it is something that we can look at, and it would probably mean a presence as part of ACOG and participation into the future to be recognized as wanting to be a member of the board sometime in the future. But as of right now, no appointment really is necessary or needed as part of this process. So what I've provided on page 125 is a recommendation. It's really a starting point for us. It includes just a reappointment of all the council members, and then really the addition of Councilmember Roden to the Audit Committee and to the MDD Board. Go ahead.
I just have a comment on ACOG.
Mhm.
So the quickest way to get on ACOG is to participate in the Greater Bear County group of cities, which we are a member of as a city in Bear County, and you're a member of that. They can appoint 2 people of that group to be board members of ACOG. So as long as we participate in the Greater Bear County meeting, we can get that organization to nominate the
Yes.
mayor or who, the delegate, to be on ACOG. That's probably the easiest way. I can't think of any other way, because those board members are designated for very particular entities.
Yes.
So just stating that. I mean, there's still an opportunity.
There's always opportunity. Thanks, Laura. With the proposal, is there any recommendations for changes? Everybody's good with it? Okay. Any comments from anybody here tonight about the appointments? With that, then, I'll make the motion to approve the attachment, assigning council members as members or liaisons to the following boards, committees, and commissions. Could I get a second?
I second.
Laura? Any other comments from council? With the motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion is approved. Thank y'all. All right, the next 5 items that we have on the agenda tonight are approval of members to our boards, committees, and commissions. And I was trying to put some process to this so that we could follow along. And I believe what I'd like to do, I'll propose this, we can make some changes on process if y'all see a better way to do it. But to go through and do the nominations and voting of individuals to be appointed to the boards, and then we'll go through all of them. And then after we have them all lined out, then we'll come back and do the motions to appoint them to the boards. And that way, if we get down to one of the later boards and we've voted somebody, we don't already have a motion in place where we may want to go back and change it. Everybody tracking? Yes, ma'am.
As this is allowed to be discussed in executive session, since we were allowed to do the interviews, I don't know if we ever had a discussion in executive session about the candidates prior to us voting. But I also see that it's not listed as an executive session item. So are we still allowed to go into executive session to talk about this? Because we're allowed to by law.
You can on some boards, you can discuss a closed
One
session.
of them, right, some of them, but this is one of them, right?
Right, so it's listed as an agenda item, so if it's eligible, and I was trying to see on your agenda if you've got the general language on
Yeah.
the bottom.
I didn't see. Oh, wait, it is the very, very end. It's in the box.
Yes, you
It's in the
do as
box.
personnel, yeah, so you could if you wanted to.
The reason I say that, Mayor, is because some of us didn't attend all the interviews, and I can't comment on half of the people. I would like to be able to discuss it with council members, some of the interviews.
Okay.
Before taking a vote, because I don't. There was only one person on here, I think, that I saw that all the P and Z happened on one night for the most part, and I couldn't attend half of that meeting.
So Dan, because we have the item down there, discussion and possible action on items, can we use that?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
This sentence right here, the city council reserves the right to convene to executive session, any issue on the agenda which is legally permissible.
And it specifically lists personnel matters, 074.
Okay.
I just wanted a moment, just because I want to be able to vote intelligently on this.
Okay. Then yeah, just process. So if we go into executive session now, we can come out and then vote on these matters and then move on with the agenda and then go back into executive
Oh, yeah.
session later
We
time.
can go on as many times as y'all want.
All right. Then pursuant to Section 551.101 of the Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, a quorum of the governing body hereby convenes into closed session. And this will be under Section 551.074, personal matters. And Christine, I have the time now is 7:06, and we are moving into executive session.
We're good, Mayor.
Christine, I have the time now is 7:18, and we are back in open session. During the time frame that we were in executive session, we did not take any actions that required a consideration back in open session. And so now we're going to move on with the consideration and possible action approving a resolution to fill places on the City of Fair Oaks Ranch Planning and Zoning Committee. And so as part of P&Z, we had two individuals that were listed that desired to be reappointed to the Planning and Zoning Committee. And that would be Dale Pearson to place 6 and Bobby Bailly to place 7. Does any council member have a problem with reappointing these individuals? Okay. And then with that, then we have 2 open positions on the Planning and Zoning Committee. And I'd like to take nominations from council to fill those positions. Laura?
Mayor, I nominate
Okay. Eric Bellstone. And I tell you what, I'd like to nominate Shauna Verrett to also be a member of the P&Z. Are there any other nominations that council members would like to make?
No, she didn't hear. Shauna Verrett.
So, I'm sorry, again. What were the names?
Shauna Verrett. She's not listed
Oh,
up there.
gosh.
Are there any other members that? So each council member has 2 votes to vote, because we're filling two places. And so we'll just take a vote on this account. If everybody raise their hand if they're in favor of Eric Bielstein being on the Planning and Zoning, please raise your hand. Okay. And then also for Shauna Verrett. Right? Next, we'll move over to our capital improvements advisory. I'm going to go through all of them, and then we're going to come back and do the motions on each.
What was the first name? The first
I
name.
got it, but
Have to leave open up all the agenda items? Is that how it would work?
we're fine.
Mayor?
Yes,
I didn't
ma'am.
catch the first name.
So the 2 individuals,
Yes, I got Shauna.
Eric Bielstein.
Eric. Does it matter which place? No, okay.
Moving on to the Capital Improvements Advisory Committee. We had 2 individuals that were seeking reappointment to the committee, and that was Ben Kerner to place 7 and Chris Wiegand to place 9. Is there any council member that has a concern on reappointing these individuals? Okay, with that, we have 1 open position on the Capital Improvements Advisory Committee, and I'd like to take nominations to fill that position. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, I nominate Jamin Kazarian.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? All right, with 1 individual listed to fill the 1 position on the Capital Improvements Advisory Committee, all in favor of Jamin Kazarian, please raise your hand. All right. Next, we'll move on to the MDD.
Mayor, I'd like to nominate Ruben Olvera.
Okay. I'll mark it down, and then, hold on just a second, we had 2 individuals that were seeking reappointment to the MDD, and that's David Fairhurst in place 3, and Stephen Robertson in place 7. And then this will also include, as part of the motion, will include Keith Roden as the council member representative on the MDD. And are there any council members that have any concerns with those individuals?
There's another name.
Yes. And then with that, we have one nomination now, Ruben Olvera, to fill the one appointment spot that's left. Are there any other nominations that council would like to make? For the case, we could have done this through. All right, all in favor of Ruben Olvera for the MDD, please raise your hand. All right. And then we'll move on to the ZBOA. We did not have any open positions, but we did have two. With this, we have two individuals that were seeking reappointment, which is Michael Ray in place 1 and Jonathan Lisby in place 4. Does anybody have any concerns about the reappointment of these individuals? Okay. Jonathan Lisby.
Got it.
And then Robert Terrell, who served as an alternate member, would like to be reappointed as a primary member. Or are we just reappointing him to the alternate place?
Right.
That
Say it again, I'm sorry.
it is. Okay. So Michael Ray to place 1, Jonathan Lisby to place 4, and reappointing of Robert Terrell to the alternate position for the ZBOA. Any concerns? Okay. And then last is the Board of Appeals. It is on this one that, so we have two vacant spots on the board. John Wall, who served as an alternate member on the Board of Appeals, would like to be reappointed into one of the primary positions on the Board of Appeals. Does anybody have any concerns with that? Okay. And then we have two vacant spots, place 1 and, correction. So John Wall would go into place 1, and then we have place 3 in the alternate position still available. And I would like to nominate Jerry Ahrens, one of the individuals, to fill the Building Code Board of Appeals.
I think place 3.
All right, primary. Yes.
Mayor, I nominate
Okay. And everybody's okay with that? All right. Thank you for your patience. So now we'll go back to D, which is consideration and possible action approving a resolution to appoint members to fill places on the City of Fair Oaks Ranch Planning and Zoning Commission. And can I get a motion to approve a resolution appointing Eric Bielstein to place 3 and appointing Shauna Verrett place 5 and reappointing Dale Pearson to place 6 and reappointing Bobby Bailly to place 7 on the City of Fair Oaks Ranch Planning and Zoning Commission?
So moved.
From Chesley
Second.
and from Michelle. Any other comments from council? Any comments from anybody here tonight? Then with the motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. Thank you. With that, then we'll move on to the Capital Improvements Advisory Committee, which is consideration and the possible action approving a resolution to appoint members to fill places on the City of Fair Oaks Ranch Capital Improvement Advisory Committee. And with this, could I get a motion to approve a resolution reappointing Ben Kerner to place 7, appointing Jamin Kazarian to place 8, and reappointing Chris Wiegand to place 9 on the City of Fair Oaks Ranch Capital Improvement Advisory Committee?
I so move.
Second.
From Laura and Emily. Any other comments from council? And any comments from anybody here tonight? Motion on the table. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. With that, then we'll move on to the MDD consideration and the possible action approving a resolution to appoint members to fill places on the City of Fair Oaks Ranch Municipal Development District Board of Directors. And can we get a motion to approve a resolution reappointing David Fairhurst to place 3, appointing Ruben Olvera to place 6, reappointing Steve Robertson to place 7, and Keith Roden as the City Council representative on the City of Fair Oaks Ranch Municipal Development District Board of Directors?
So moved.
I second.
Michelle and Laura, any comments from council? Any comments from anybody here tonight? With the motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to this consideration and possible action approving a resolution to appoint members to fill places on the City of Fair Oaks Ranch Zoning Board of Adjustment. And could I get a motion to approve a resolution reappointing Michael Ray to place 1, reappointing Jonathan Lisabee to place 4, and reappointing Roderick Terrell to the alternate position on the City of Fair Oaks Ranch Zoning Board of Adjustment? Is that Chesley? In a second.
Second.
Michelle, any comments from council? Any comments from anybody here tonight?
What was the first name that you said?
Michael Ray?
Michael Ray isn't up for reaffirmation.
Okay. So we have 2 positions. What were the?
Yes. The
What are-
2 positions are Jonathan Listenby and Roderick Terrell.
The sheet here is Michael Ray as well.
I apologize for that, but. Sorry?
One is right over the other.
Does it say place 1?
It does say place 1, and it says it with the term ending 9/30/2023.
We'll go ahead and include it in the resolution, and if not needed,
We can modify it.
right,
Amanda is checking as we speak, but
okay.
we can move that.
So the motion on the table is reappointing Michael Ray to place 1, reappointment of Jonathan Lisabee to place 4, and reappointment of Roderick Terrell to the alternate position on the ZBOA. Any other comments from council? Any comments from anybody here tonight? That with the motion on the table, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion is approved. And the last committee consideration that we have tonight is the possible consideration and the possible action approving a resolution to appoint members to fill places on the City of Fair Oaks Ranch's Board of Appeals. And with this one, our alternate member that was currently on the Board of Appeals would like to move up into the primary position. And so John Wall will take on that position. I move to approve a resolution. Well, I'll make the motion to approve a resolution appointing John Wall, who is currently an alternate member, and appointing him to place 1, and Jerry Ahrens to place 3, and Eric Bilstein as the alternate member on the City of Fair Oaks Ranches Board of Appeals. And I made the motion. Could I get a second?
Second.
Any other comments from council? And with that, any comments from anybody here tonight? Motion on the table. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion is approved. Thank you all for your patience and helping me through that process. And I believe we covered all the, okay. And that completes all of the consideration items that we had tonight on the agenda. We do have one report from staff tonight, and Lieutenant Hayde is going to talk to us about the upcoming eclipse. For those that are following along, it's on page 144 of the packet.
How you doing, Mayor, Council? Yes, sir, we're going to have a 2023 on October 14th, a solar eclipse coming through Texas. I have a slide, couple slides to show you, just to give you an overview of what the city's going to be doing along with our adjacent cities around us, and just some safety tips for whoever's going to be observing the eclipse. We will have another eclipse April 8th of 2024, which is considered to be the bigger one, but I just wanted to give you all an update on this one here. Again, it's going to be happening October 14th, 2023. It's going to be coming mostly through our city, heading towards Kerrville type area. We will have we'll be working alongside our partners with Kendall County and Bernie. Bexar County is not going to participate, and they don't have to worry about too much of the items or the eclipse that's going to be coming through. So what we expect to happen, it's going to roughly start roughly around 10:23 and last, the whole event should end primarily at around 1:33. It's supposed to last only 4 minutes and 29 seconds, but they expect people to be parked in different areas just to observe this. As you can see in this map here, the dark line on the left-hand side coming down from California down into Texas is going to be the eclipse that's coming on the pathway for 2023. The other side coming from the right side down is going to be the pathway that's for the eclipse on April 8th of 2024.
Right in the middle is us.
Say again?
And right in the middle is us.
Crossroads.
Yes, it's going to be right on us. We are going to be the prime area, also all the way up to Kerrville. Where NASA is going to be based out of is Kerrville at the moment. So they're going to attract a lot of attention. If you see the QR code at the very bottom there, I'll have another one a little further, but it'll be something that you can use on your phone, so you can actually enhance what NASA's doing and what the pathway, and kind of give you some more updates as it comes along. Some safety considerations, basically regular sunglasses are not going to be effective, so please tell your kids or family members not to look directly into the sun. There are actually special film lenses that are going to be, that you can purchase, but right now what I'm hearing is a lot of that stuff has already been close to being sold out now. If you're looking through microscopes, cameras, binoculars, if you don't have the special film that covers those lenses, then you're pretty much in harm's way with watching the sun and how it's supposed to unveil. So please be careful. Tell your kids to be careful. Here are the safety glasses that everybody's pretty much purchasing on Amazon. It's a special safety lens. I know the schools are providing a lot of the glasses for kids. They pretty much purchase these ahead of time. I know Northeast, Northside, and Bernie School District were putting that out to parents. I don't know if parents received that notice of the safety goggles, safety glasses they were actually gonna get for the students. Like I said, regular sunglasses are not gonna be a safe thing to wear once this comes around. They're actual dark lens that international standards, it's gonna be the ISO 12312-2. If it doesn't say that on the package, then those are not the specs to actually have, okay? So just be aware, there's also a lot of knockoffs that are being sold, so just be careful. Important information, as far as the city is concerned, we're working with ESD4, which is our Leon Springs Fire Department. They're gonna be on standby to help us out in this area. We're expecting Bernie to be packed that weekend due to there's a car show and some other events that are going to be going on there. They're going to be using it as a platform to try to work out the kinks for the big one that's coming in April. They'll have all the hospitals, as you can see there, Bernie hospitals will be on standby with extra personnel. Bernie is going to stand up their EOC to make sure that everybody knows their jobs and making sure everything is going well due to the amount of people they are expecting. Hotels are already booked up. They're all booked up there. Some of the other events, people are buying out all the porta potties and extra generators. They expect to have a lot of people. We're gonna have, I-10 might be a place
Parking
where
lot.
people pull over and actually try to see this thing. So please be careful on I-10. If you're wanting to go into Bernie, be careful. You might have extra streets blocked off to coordinate and making sure that first responders and EMS can get to certain locations. Some of the safety areas here in our city, we will have, the schools already mentioned that people can actually park in their parking lots to observe the eclipse, so they won't have to be parking on the side of the road or be a hazard. We also have the Cibolo Church has also informed us that people can use their facilities to park and watch the eclipse as it unfolds. As far as medical personnel and for Fair Oaks PD, I'll have extra personnel on standby for that day. I will be here myself, just in case something happens that we need. I'm already in contact with Bexar County's EOC, so if we need their assistance, they're willing to help if anything else was to occur. That cue card that's right behind Scott's head is the perfect cue card to, if you want to get your phone and actually with a photo, just put it up to it and it'll actually pop up a little link. And that'll be NASA's link directly to them so they can actually see exactly what's going on. They'll give updates regularly. They even have slides of the universe and how it's gonna unveil. And just to give you an idea, and I think it was pretty neat that they did that so people can actually see it and educational to kids that are interested in seeing an eclipse happen. That's all I have. Is there any questions that
Questions, comments?
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mayor.
Thank you.
Pretty exciting overall that, I forget, what do they call is it a lunar eclipse or solar? It's
Annular.
Annular?
annular, that's the word,
Yes,
the
sir.
annular eclipse
Yes, sir.
in October. And I believe it's like a 90%, at its peak, it'll be 90% blocked.
Yes.
The sun will be blocked. But then to come back and several months later have a full total eclipse where we'll go dark for, I don't know, it's a couple minutes.
4 minutes and 29
Yeah, I mean,
seconds.
it's
and-
pretty exciting. The total eclipse is the one that a lot of people get excited about, and where I'm sure that we'll get a lot of tourist attraction to the hill country area to sit through it. And we'll probably get some with the eclipse coming up in a month or so. I know that a lot of the EOCs are using it as a rehearsal process for getting ready for the total eclipse in April. So,
Yes, sir.
but for all of us, I mean, what we'll see is a lot more traffic. You know, if people are here for whatever the time period is, a weekend or spills over into Monday, we may see a lot of traffic here.
Stay home
may
that
be the answer.
weekend.
All right. Thanks, John.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to Creston announcements. Is there any council members that have any announcements that they'd like to make tonight? Okay, I have 3 announcements I'd like to cover. Household hazardous waste turn-in date is this Saturday, the 23rd of September. We'll be doing it from 8 to 11 in the Cibolo Creek Community Church parking lot. We ask those that are coming to do the turn-in that the access to the parking lot will be on the back side of the church through Saratoga Drive instead of trying to turn in off of FM 3351. There will be signs, and I believe we'll have police presence out there also to help direct traffic. Next announcement is National Night Out is Tuesday, October 3rd. Representatives from the police, fire division, fire department, and our ambulance service will be out visiting neighborhoods. These requests are usually made through the HOAs, and then they'll put a schedule together to bring all these representatives out to the neighborhood. And then the last announcement that I have tonight is the reconstruction of Post Oak Trail will begin soon. Phase 1 of the project kicks off, and as part of Phase 1, they're going to replace 3 culverts that cross Post Oak Trail. And as a result of that, they're going to close Post Oak Trail to through traffic. You're not going to be able to get through it. There will be signs out. There will be messages boards that will be placed in the area. But right now, it's scheduled October 2nd. They'll be closing Post Oak Trail to through traffic, and that should last through the 17th of October. Following that, there are time periods where it'll be one-way traffic on Post Oak Trail, but the road should be open for throughput. Scott, anything I missed or any other announcements?
No, sir, I think you covered it. Thank you.
All right. Is there any council member that has an item that they'd like placed on a future agenda? All right, I'm going to backtrack a little bit here, and I'm going to hand it over to Councilmember Bliss for an announcement.
Yeah, so as some of you may or may not know, and I'm going to try not to cry, my husband has terminal cancer, and I'm going to resign from council tomorrow because of it. It's been a hard decision. We've been dealing with this for a while, but kind of had the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, last week when he had a day he felt really well and wanted to cook me dinner for the first time since probably Christmas of last year, and I had to come here. And I didn't feel good about that. So I'll be turning my resignation tomorrow. And you guys are in such good hands. This council is so good to work with. You're in such good hands in the city. And I've enjoyed working with all you guys. I really have. So thank you.
Well, Michelle, it's been a pleasure to have you on council. And your contributions that you've made to the group, our team, as part of council has been invaluable. So thank you for all that you have done. And our prayers are with you and Dave always.
Thanks.
We do have the opportunity to go back into executive session tonight pursuant to Section 551.101 of the Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code. A quorum of the governing body hereby convenes into closed session. And we'll do this under Section 551.071, consultation with the attorney, and specifically to receive legal advice from special counsel and the city attorney regarding the city's groundwater rights. We will also go back into executive session, remain in executive session under Section 551.074, personal matters, to deliberate and select finalists for the city's municipal court judges. And Christina, I have the time now is 7:48, and we are moving into executive session. For the first, we'll take a 5-minute break for council members. And for this first portion on the, I believe,
Executive session.
interim city manager, Grant, Carol, and our attorneys. Anybody else? Okay. And Dan, you're welcome to stay if you'd like to stick around. I don't want you to think you're left out or, you know. Okay. All right. We're in executive session. Time now is 7:49. We'll take a 5-minute break and reconvene at 7:54. Can you hear me okay? Good, all right. Christina, I have the time now is 9:22, and we are back in open session. During our time in executive session, we had one item that made a decision on that we need for consideration back in open session, and that is specifically on the appointment of the municipal judge. And I would like to make a motion that we appoint Daryl Dolnig as the municipal judge for the city of Fair Oaks Ranch, and additionally that we appoint Frank Dixon as the alternate judge.
Did you make a motion?
I did.
Okay, then I'll second.
And any other discussion from council?
No, I just think we're blessed with having three wonderful candidates wanting to.
Fully agree. Any comments or questions from people here tonight? With that, then, a motion on the table. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Then the motion is approved. Thank you all. And with that, Christina, anything else that we need tonight?
No,
Did we
sir.
miss anything or anything else we need to cover?
We're
We're good. Scott, anything else?
Nothing
that we
here,
need?
sir.
All right, I have the time now is 9:24 and we are adjourned.